about, this is Women's History Month, and I'm going to speak to us this morning about Anne Eleanor Roosevelt. Mrs. Roosevelt was the wife of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who was her fifth cousin. As a child, Eleanor was very shy and retiring. Her mother died when she was only 8 years old, and her father died 2 years older when she was 10, so she was sent to England to be educated. However, after her husband was in political life, and after he suffered a polio attack in 1921, Eleanor came into her own. She stepped forward to help Franklin with his political career, and when he became president 12 years later in 1933, Eleanor was she was constantly in public life. They had 6 children, but she, in spite of that, she was very influential in helping Franklin and participated behind the scenes in the formulation of his New Deal legislation. She gave press conferences and spoke out about human rights, children's causes, and women's issues. I don't know whether she was United Methodist, but it sounds like she may have been. Working on behalf of the League of Women Voters, Eleanor helped the country in standing up for its poor. She stood firmly against racial discrimination. She developed friendships and relationships with women of all races, including Marian Anderson and Mary McLeod Bethune. She even had her own newspaper. She visited the armed forces and at one time was severely rebuked by an Air Force colonel for actually taking an airplane ride with a black airman. Eleanor was heavily criticized by some and praised by others. Following her husband's death in 1945, she remained active. From 1945 to 1953, she served as a delegate to the United Nations General Assembly and became chair of the Human Rights Commission, where she helped to write the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that we as United Methodists are all familiar with. An effort that she considered to be her greatest achievement. She continued her work, and President John Kennedy made her a delegate to the United Nations and also appointed her to chair the Commission on the Status of Women. Eleanor died of cancer on November the 7th, 1962 at age 78. A revolutionary First Lady, Eleanor Roosevelt was one of our most outspoken women to ever live in the White House. She was a great humanitarian who dedicated much of her life to fighting for political and social change. Thank you.
Thank you. In honor of Women's History Month, I will be highlighting Elizabeth Catlett. Elizabeth Catlett was an African-American sculptor, painter, and printmaker. She was born into a middle-class family of educators in Washington, D.C. in 1915, and she died in 2012 at the age of 96. At an early age, Elizabeth knew that art was her calling, but as you may imagine, it was unexpected for a Black woman of Elizabeth's generation to choose art as her career. She was fortunate that her mother nurtured her and encouraged her in this direction. Her father had died before she was born, but she was inspired by wood carvings that he had made, and she credits them with being one of her motivating factors toward an art career. Elizabeth was also greatly inspired by her grandmother, who was born on a North Carolina plantation, and relates stories of plantation life to her. Elizabeth Catlett received an undergraduate degree at Howard University in 1937, and she later received a Master's of Fine Arts from the University of Iowa. Elizabeth taught at the Durham High School after graduating from Howard. She was discouraged by the low pay for Negro teachers, so she went on to pursue her graduate degree. During graduate school, Elizabeth was inspired by the famous artist Grant Wood, who told her to paint what she knew about. Therefore, her primary subject matter became Black women and motherhood. She sought to depict the problems of Black women, but to also elevate them as beautiful and dignified. In the 1940s, she received a grant to study in Mexico, and she met her husband there, and she spent the majority of her life in Mexico, but she did not abandon her essential self as a Black woman. She is famous for the print series entitled I Am a Negro Woman, and it includes the prints of Harriet Tubman and sharecropper women. In the 60s, her art highlighted Malcolm X and the Black Power movement. She was also an advocate for Black women, but she did not fully embrace the women's liberation in the 70s because she felt that its focus was mainly the perspective of white women. In her later years, Elizabeth encouraged Black youth to get the best education that you possibly can. And she challenged successful Blacks to, quote, try to do something not for fame or riches, but to give of yourself for the sake of others, end quote. Her personal philosophy of art was to create art because it is important only to the extent that it helps in the liberation of our people. If you'd like more information about Elizabeth Catlett, there are some excellent live interviews with the artists on YouTube.
Thank you. Get out here where you all can. I want to present to the adult Sunday school class, or the adult Sunday school class is presenting this plaque in memory of Dr. Joseph Jerome Whitaker III, a faithful, devoted, and loyal adult Sunday school teacher here at St. Matthew's United Methodist Church. And this plaque will be placed in the Joseph Bethea Memorial Chapel. Colin, thank you. Thank you for the Sunday school.
I think at this time, I'm going to call on Miss Ramona Gibson, who is going to come now and make a special presentation as we recognize troop number 1726. Did I get it right? Why don't you stand so they can see you and we can recognize you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
March 12th marks the 103rd anniversary of Girl Scouting in the United States of America. You don't have to be a Girl Scout to become a great woman, but great women are Girl Scouts. I am very proud to be working with the young ladies that are standing over there. We have some that were not able to come today. But we are really enjoying our adventure, and we thank St. Matthews for sponsoring this troop and providing us the support that we need to produce these lovely girls. They are wonderful. I thoroughly enjoy every last one of them. We'd also like to acknowledge all of our volunteers, and most of the parents are very active and involved in helping us with the girls. Myra Key is the leader of the cadet troop, and Lydia McNeil is a volunteer that helps her with the activities. In the younger group, Lydia Gibson works with the younger girls. And then we have Jocelyn Brown over here who helps out because little girls are a handful. And then Adrian Fleming, who has worked for the last few years with us. So they all work together. And we even have one honorary Girl Scout, Jackie's dad, Mr. Westry. He is always helping, always participating. He attends meetings. And it's wonderful having a father so involved in his daughter's life. And we really appreciate that. If you will check out in the narthex, you'll see that we have a couple of posters out there. One just gives you an idea of what we've been doing all during the last year. The younger girls have gone horseback riding. The older girls have had archery lessons, dance lessons. We had a field day. So we're trying to keep busy and try different things. We have had 2 girls since our last Girl Scout Sunday who have gotten the Silver Award. Last year, Michaela Key went to the Girl Scout banquet, and she was honored there. This year, we have Jacqueline Westry, who has earned a Silver Award, and it's my understanding that you collected over 500 books to distributed to children who are in shelters and who are unable to get books that they need. So that was a wonderful award recognition. I'd like to give her something in recognition of her getting her Silver Award. This is your patch that you should wear on the front. It says Girl Scout Silver Award, and then have a little mug for you with Girl Scout Silver Award. And we're very proud of you. You did an excellent job. We'd like to invite any young girls or young ladies in the church who are interested in becoming Girl Scouts to contact us, because we're like a big family. These are sisters. They've come to be very close to each other, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for people who are going to support you and help you in your endeavors. And again, thank you all for allowing us to be a part of this.
am the bread of life. I am the light of the world. I am the good shepherd. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the true vine. I am not a sinner. I'm not one who speaks not the truth. I am not one who does not care for you. I am not. When you say I am, what you decree must come your way. Confess I am, that I am, that I am.
For all you golfers in the house, Bill Guest, when I was a little girl, my uncle used to go golfing. And I wanted to go with him. He wasn't an Ernie Els, Arnold Palmer, or Tiger Woods. But I thought that if I could go golfing with him, I would become the next Arnold Palmer. Well, maybe Arnetta Palmer. And I went with him one time. Oh, I was so happy. He put on those spiked shoes, and they were all nice and clean. He had on his pressed khakis and his golf shirt. And I got to carry the umbrella. Boy, I was one more happy camper. And we get to the golf course, and I'm walking around carrying the umbrella, and the umbrella had a handle on it. You could open it up and just sit down. And I was sitting down, and they wouldn't let me hit a ball, so I got kind of bored. And I just kept walking behind them, only to find out I'd left the umbrella several holes back. And the guys who were playing through brought it to my uncle. He hit the golfing ceiling. I have never had him fuss at me. And it broke my heart that my uncle got so mad that he fussed at me. Jesus got mad like that too. Wasn't because anybody left a golf umbrella several holes back, but because of what he saw going on in and around the temple. You see, Jesus was on his way to Jerusalem. And I can imagine that he and the disciples were tired and hot and dusty. And as they get to Jerusalem, to the temple, instead of quietly going up the stairs for the service or to prayer, they see cattle and sheep and doves and crates and pens full of animals. And then they see these tables outside with money bags and money changers and scales for weighing, because if one had to purchase an animal for sacrifice in the temple, one had to use temple coinage. You just didn't come in with a quarter and get a dove. You had to use the coins of the temple. Well, all of these money changers were there, and all of these persons with the animals were there, and I can imagine it was a flat-out mess. And Jesus got angry enough to clear the place out and say, let's get this mess out of here. This same Jesus who had taught so magnificently on the hillside, the Beatitudes.
This same Jesus who had fed over 5,000 persons with 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. This same Jesus who probably smiled when he took a child in his arm. This same Jesus who, when the woman in adultery was brought to him, told her, go and sin no more. This same Jesus got mad and said, get this mess out of here. It's recorded in John's Gospel, the 2nd chapter, beginning at verse 13. The Passover of the Jews was near, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. In the temple he found people selling cattle, sheep, and doves, and the money changers seated at their tables. Making a whip of cords, he drove out all of them from the temple, both the sheep and the cattle. He also poured out the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables. He told those who were selling doves, take these things out of here. Stop making my Father's house a marketplace. In other words, get this mess out of here. And you know, if Jesus were here today, I can imagine if he were to come to several of our churches, he would get mad. He would get mad and he would drive out folk, not for selling cattle and doves. We don't do that anymore. The supreme sacrifice was made in Christ Jesus. Not for changing money. Most churches don't get enough money. But the thing of it is, he would get angry for the mess we bring into church. And y'all say, nah, oh, come on, now. We don't do that here. Yeah, we do. We bring more mess in the church than we take to our jobs on Monday morning. We don't take some of this mess to the job on Monday morning because we can get F-I-R-E-D, and that ain't fried. Did I spell it right? Fire. But we come into God's house and we bring a lot of bitterness, a lot of jealousy, a lot of backbite. Oh, we got some rumor mongers in the church. I heard, she said, they said, well, honey, I understand all them rumors. No fact, just rumor. We bring that mess into God's house when we ought to be coming in and saying, create in me a clean heart, oh God, and renew a right spirit within me. Get me straight. That's why I came in here this morning. Not to get no mess. Well, one time I was on patrol and we were looking for this criminal. And they had all the deputies come and we were going to catch this criminal. Well, it was out in the country, out near a farm. And there was a barn there. And I was going around the barn. I'd just been to town to get my shoes shined. And I'm going around the barn. And as I'm walking around, my foot went down. And I looked down. My shoe shine was messed up. I put my gun back in my holster. Got me some wheat from that farmer's field, and I wasn't gonna make no Wonder Bread either. And I cleaned my shoes off. I got back in my patrol car, and I went straight to town. Y'all catch them if you can. We bring mess on the soles of our hearts in the God's church. We bring anger, we bring jealousy, we bring greed, we bring malice, we bring all that mess into God's house. And Jesus is saying to us this morning, get this mess out of here. He's coming back and he's gonna look for a church without a spot or a blemish. I got a feeling when he come back, he gonna pass over a whole lot of churches. Cause he's not gonna be able to find nothing but mess inside his house. You've turned my Father's house into a den, and it should be a house of prayer for all people. Why would I, with all of the heartaches and the burdens that I have or any of us have, want to come in and pray when all we hear around us is mess? Get this mess out of here. So be it. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.